Wirtgen coal mining. In India, more than 430 million tons of different minerals are mined annually. This includes 210 million tons of coal and 99 million tons of limestone. In order to get to these valuable mineral resources, 426 million cubic meters of overburden have to be moved. The traditional method of mining minerals has been by drilling and blasting. Because its coal seams are densely mixed with intermediate layers of waste material, Indian coal has a high ash content. For this reason, new technologies are being sought that avoid blasting, allow for quality improvement during the coal mining process, and at the same time are environmentally friendly. The open cast mine in Lakhanpur is one of the Mahanadi coalfield mines. This is a subsidiary belonging to Coal India in the state of Orissa, with a 20 to 25 metre thick coal seam, which is covered by 8 to 90 metres of overburden, is mined using the conventional bench mining method. Here too, the coal is interspersed with layers of waste material. In order to remain competitive against cheaper and higher quality imported coal, it's essential that Indian coal improves in quality and that the costs are reduced. Here too, both coal and overburden are first loosened by blasting. The thermal energy of coal extracted this way is only 2,200 kilocalories per kilogram. This is equivalent to 87% in the quality range grade F, plus 13% in the inferior quality G. And this is what the coal looks like that's extracted using this traditional method. There's every size of material, from dust to really thick chunks. Furthermore, there's a great deal of waste material in the coal, as you can see from this truckload. The open cast mine is surrounded by factories, roads and housing developments, so safe distances have to be adhered to. For economic reasons, however, it's absolutely necessary to exploit the deposits to their very limits. On top of that, it's essential to mine selectively in order to separate the intermediate layers and the waste material from the coal. In order to investigate the possibilities of this type of selective extraction, 3 Wirtgen Surface Miners have been in operation here since 1999. One of these machines is working in quarry number 2 in Lakhanpur open cast mine. It's being used in an area near to a housing settlement, the village of Ganamal. Blasting is not permitted here. So the Wirtgen Surface Miner 2100 SM is being used to mine the overburden and coal. Even layers of waste material that are less than 1 metre thick, which go right through the coal, are selectively milled and loaded. From the 21st of June 1999, when the surface miner was first put into operation, until the 31st of March 2000, that is, in little more than 9 months, this machine has worked 4,800 hours in a 3-shift operation. During this time, 1.2 million tons of coal and 23,700 cubic meters of overburden have been milled. This amounts to an average performance of 260 tons per hour, making it possible to extract up to 5,000 tons of coal per day. 47% of the coal was of the higher quality E, and about 50% was of the original quality F. This coal gets taken from the mine to the loading station without any interim treatment and can be used immediately. Layer by layer, the coal is removed. The individual layers in the work process can easily be recognized by the cuts in the embankment. The Wirtgen 2100 SM follows the coal seam or the waste material layer and removes it at a depth of up to 24 centimeters. When the coal is loosened by the milling process, the material is crushed, lifted and loaded directly onto trucks. At the same time, the clean and stable embankment is milled with the required gradient. Just as here in Lakhanpur, Wirtgen surface miners are already mining black gold in Australia, Russia and Europe. This method of coal mining, which is new for India, is arousing interest throughout the country. Today as well, top-flight experts from almost all coal mining areas have come to see for themselves. Specialists from Wirtgen India from Bangalore are available to give sound and competent information to these experts. The operators are also more than willing to report on their experiences with this technology. Before the Wirtgen surface miners arrived on the Indian coal mining scene, 16 machines had already proved their capabilities in Indian limestone mining. The experiences that were gained were taken into account in the operation plan for the coal mining. Loading the milled material directly onto trucks is the most elegant working method for the Wirtgen surface miner. The different work steps, extracting, crushing and loading, can thereby be carried out with one machine and in one work process. This greatly simplifies the organization of the coal mining. However, the high efficiency of the Wirtgen surface miners can only be used to the full if sufficient trucks are on hand to take over the milled material directly. Today, we're going to demonstrate another Wirtgen surface miner work method, windrowing. Here, the milled coal is not loaded immediately, but deposited in windrows behind the machine. For this type of operation, the rear crawler tracks are covered on the inside. Why this complicated way of working, which involves using an extra machine for loading? By separating the milling and loading processes, it's not necessary to stop to wait for the next empty truck. The surface miner can also mill when no truck is available. The surface miner's cutting performance is greater when windrowing than when loading onto the conveying system. The loading vehicles achieve maximum performance when dealing with small-sized material. It's a normal working day again in Lakhanpur. In this mine, the Wirtgen surface mining concept has proved its cost efficiency. The capital and operating costs are up to 20% lower than with conventional mining methods. Let's make the most of the day and move on to another place. In the Lingaraj coal mine, which also belongs to the Mahanadi coalfield, another Wirtgen surface miner, 2100 SMC, is at work. As you can see, the mine coal is deposited here as windrow, as demonstrated in Lakhanpur. This method was chosen right from the start because the coal seams and the intermediate layers of waste material lie at a very steep angle and run at right angles to the short mining area available. Coal and waste material are milled here without interruption at a constant cutting depth. Front loaders select the coal and the waste material from the windrow during the loading process. But we'll come to that later. Let's take a closer look at the surface miner. The surface miner is nifty, very nifty. The four hydraulically driven crawler tracks see to it that the 40,500 kilo machine is incredibly easy to manipulate. The power comes from these hydraulic pumps. The milling drum is driven directly by the engine. Power belts see to that. Tungsten carbide tips ensure that the cutting tools have an amazingly long service life. Our electronic height regulators ensure that milling depths are kept to precisely. If necessary, the machine can also be driven by hand. As already mentioned, front loaders select the waste material directly from the windrow. From his centrally positioned air-conditioned cabin, the driver has an excellent view of what's happening all round the surface miner and the whole working area. Under this soundproof bonnet, a diesel engine with 610 horsepower provides enough power to operate the surface miner. As already seen in Lakhanpur, the machine produces coal of an optimal size. This coal can also be burned in power stations right away without further processing. A shift change. The night shift takes over the operating of the surface miner. A smooth handover from one team to another. The mine manager comes by to find out what production stage has been reached in this sector. The easy mining process afforded by Wirtgen surface miners has led to a vast reduction in the daily planning and coordination work. The day is drawing to a close. But the Wirtgen surface miner 2100 SMC ploughs on relentlessly, even at night. In the different working situations shown, Wirtgen surface miners have demonstrated what a cost-efficient mining method they provide under difficult conditions, thereby opening up new perspectives for improving competitiveness for the Indian coal industry. When the job is to extract high-grade coal from difficult deposit conditions in one work process, then Wirtgen surface miners have to be the first choice.